And back in 2004, when I was working for a big financial company, and I was working on their mortgage application, and I actually accidentally broke the application. Trying to figure out what happened, I was Googling it, and I stumbled across Owasp. And since then, I actually changed my field from developer to actually into application security. And I've done several hundreds of trainings at various organizations of different sizes, and wherever I have spoken with the developers, I can tell you this: developers don't. It's not like they're completely opposed to this thing, but if we can somehow educate them, they will definitely follow these principles. And I think please give us your feedback in terms of what is it that you would like to see from Owasp, which can educate your developers, or even to a certain extent your management, about the web application security issues that you're facing. So anyway, Owasp, it's a 501c3 nonprofit, so that means if you're donating to Owasp, you're going to get tax credit. We have 70 active global chapters. There are much more than that, but since Owasp is completely volunteer-based, there are a lot of people who take the initiative, but then if they get busy, they kind of drop off. But they come back and they, things like that. So it's basically based on people like us, people like you, who take the initiative and carry the Owasp. In past 10 years, we're talking about this organization starting from 3-4 people working together, just starting as a discussion. And now we're talking about over 21,000 participants in mailing lists. So we've come a long way. And of course, our work has been globally cited. NIST, PCI, most of these big organizations, even DHS and all those, they reference Owasp material. Now, today, like we said, we had 37 RSVPs actually, and we only have around 15-70 people who still not come up, but that's still a good turnout for New Jersey based on my past experiences. There are 57 individual members, and when we say members, we're talking about people who pay $50 membership fee and actually become an Owasp member. And then we have around 1,500, slightly over 1,500 people on the mailing list. So we have Owasp New York, New Jersey mailing list, and we keep sending announcements. And we are constantly looking for places where we can host these kind of sessions. From last year to this year, I think one of the big shifts has been, last year we were doing quarterly, if I'm not wrong, we were doing quarterly sessions. This year we're doing monthly. So every month we do one of these meetings at one of these locations, like today, which was graciously provided by New York Internet Company. Tomorrow we have one in New York, which is hosted by JP Morgan Chase. We have Protivity, we have UPS. We have a lot of companies who have started to provide a space, and basically in return what they're also expecting is maybe their developers or maybe their staff will also join in and kind of educate themselves on some of the topics that are presented at these sessions. So again, one of the biggest thing about Owasp is A, it's volunteer based, B, it's content rich. It's basically people who have done some research on something, they want to share their information with everybody else. And it's basically like today we have 4 speakers who worked on certain things and they want to share their experiences and knowledge with somebody else. And that is basically what is the driving factor behind Owasp. Again, core values: open, innovation, global, integrity. One of the biggest thing about Owasp, and you will see that, is it is completely, on any of their website, you will see there is not one single article or resource which is vendor biased. We do not promote vendor specific stuff. Of course, we need sponsors, and that's why we have like Verica, who they can present their material at one of these sessions. But any of the material which is hosted at Owasp or promoted by Owasp is not going to be vendor biased. Now, talking about projects, Owasp has, I think at one point of time, they had more than 250 projects going on. And some of their flagship projects are Owasp Top 10, Owasp Developer Guide, Owasp Testing Guide, Code Review Guide. These are the active projects. We have stable quality projects, beta, active, inactive, alpha status projects, and these are some of the projects that you can actually use within your organization. This is being tested and of course used by multiple companies. Now recently, Owasp has actually acknowledged that there are two perspectives when we talk about application security. First is the pen tester or the security guy's perspective. We call it the defender. The attacker. That's the detect and protect. I'm sorry. Okay. There's a different theme going on, attacker versus defender at Owasp, so I kind of got confused. But then there's also from the developer's perspective, and that's where we're talking about protect. So you will see most of the projects are now going to be broken into different categories, so people can actually see what they're looking for, what is useful for them. One of the other initiatives that is going on is kind of how to link all these different projects together. One of the challenges, we spoke to a lot of people, developers, security people and all that, and we continuously take their feedback. One of the things which we realize is that our material is comprehensive, but it's not easily consumable. So if you're looking at, let's say, cross-site scripting or SQL injection vulnerability, let's say there's an attack, Sony, that's a classic example today. Most of their Sony website was hacked through SQL injection. Now if a developer is looking at it and it's like, okay, what is SQL injection? He can go to some place and see what SQL injection, but from there, the next question which a developer would ask is, how can I test whether my module is vulnerable to SQL injection or not? So he's going to open testing guide as it is today, and he's going to look for where SQL injection is and kind of find the details. And then the next question is, oh, how do I make sure my code is not vulnerable? So what is the defensive technique? So he's going to open the development guide, and he's going to look for how to protect from SQL injection, what kind of coding practices he needs to use. And then of course, oh, how do I code review for SQL injection, whether it's still there or not? So right now, every guide is a separate project in itself. But one of the things which we are trying to do now is link them all together. So if you're looking for SQL injection, you should be able to say, okay, this is how I test for it, this is how I fix it, this is how I do a code review, and all of them in a much easier way for anyone to understand and use. One of the other projects that I have started in past 1 month is Owasp threat modeling methodology. Now we all have heard about Microsoft threat modeling methodology, but based on my discussion with a lot of security professionals in the industry, everybody has said that Microsoft threat modeling methodology is way too Microsoft centric. We need something which can be easily understandable, which could be repeatable, and can be adopted by the industry. We have several other methodologies, but there is nothing that is a standard today except for the Microsoft one, but that we cannot use. So Owasp has started a threat modeling project where we want to come up with a methodology that could be adopted by the industry. And I wanted to ask you guys, if you or any one of your team member would like to participate, we'd be more than happy to have you. We are also looking for people or companies basically who can say, you know what, I want to give it a shot at my company so that we can see the drawbacks and mature this methodology over a period of time. So if you guys want to participate in any way, please reach out to me. Then today's agenda, we're going to start with what can you learn from Brown's Enterprise Security by Randy Smith. Then we're going to move to crimeware Trojans from Phil. And then we're going to have PKI versus TUFU, which I don't understand what TUFU is, but I'm sure Isaac will tell us. And do we have N3 here yet?
Shortly.
Okay, so, and then before I ask Randy to come in and start with his presentation, these are our upcoming events. So if you guys, you can also check out our Owasp New York, New Jersey chapter page, and you will find all these details over there as well. One last thing, if you or